Hey guys, it's Karen again. Are you a beginner in makeup? If you are, this is the video for you because today I'm focusing on 9 makeup products for beginners. These are 9 musts, in my opinion, that you need in order to start applying makeup. If you're new and you're a beginner and you don't really know how to begin, what to buy, and how to really apply everything on your face. So I'm going to show you today the 9 must makeup products that I think are must. 9 must that I think are must. I like that sentence. It makes a lot of sense, but let's leave it. And I want to share them with you. 9 musts, in my opinion, for the makeup beginners. Stage is to apply foundation to your face, but since you are a beginner, I recommend applying a BB cream. This is the BB cream by Missha. This is called Perfect Cover BB cream, and I do recommend applying a BB cream which is very light coverage, and you don't really need a very thick coverage when you are just beginning and you don't really know how to apply the foundation, and starting off with a BB cream will be easier for you. So I do recommend this one. This is the as I said, by Missha, and this is number 27. It plus is it has an SPF of 42. So you just apply 2 squeezes on the back of your hand. Now you can apply it with your fingers, and if you don't want to invest in a sponge, you know, it's possible. And oh, it has a very nice scent to it. Okay, I think this is just the second time I'm using it. I don't know why I haven't used it until now. It has a very good shade match for me. So if you are in the same complexion as I am, then 27 will be good for you. So I'm just applying it with my fingers because, you know, we are beginners. We don't really want to invest so much money in brushes and sponges, and maybe we won't like applying all this makeup on us, you know. So let's start with our hands if you want, and you have it already, you can use a brush or a sponge. So a BB cream is very easy to apply with your fingers. It's just like applying a moisturizer, because, you know, this is what BB cream is a moisturizer that has a tint to it. So wow, look how much material I have left. If I have been using my sponge, I'm sure that these would have been absorbed in the sponge. So I'm just adding it to my face, and I'm just rubbing it so it will look an even coat of BB cream and it won't look patchy. Okay, this is it. Yep. Definitely. Next stage is to conceal. Now, conceal and brighten. So it depends on what age you are starting to apply makeup. If you're young, you use the concealer for highlighting. If you're a bit older, you're using the concealer also to conceal your under eye area. So it depends on what age you are. So if you are a beginner and you're young, then you're using this concealer, and I'm using this one by Essence. This is the Camouflage Full Coverage Concealer. This is in the shade 10 Nude, so it's very light for my complexion. So I'm just, as you can see, very light. So I'm just using it in my T section, on my nose and on my chin. Now I'll apply a bit on my under eye, just a tiny bit, and because I'm not young, and I do need a bit of coverage. I added a tiny bit in each corner of the eye, and well, now you have a few options. You can use either a sponge or you can take a brush. This stage I don't recommend using your fingers because you really need to absorb the material into your face. So we can use the sponge, and well, we could have used the sponge earlier, but I think that the BB cream is best to apply with your fingers, and since it's not a foundation, it's a BB cream, it's easier to apply the BB cream with your fingers and not with a sponge or a brush. You can if you want, but I don't recommend it. And for the under eye area, use a sponge, or you can take a brush, whatever you want. Let's do both on each side and we can see the differences. So I'm just taking my brush and I'm applying it to my under eye area, and I've chosen a very light color. So this is with a brush. I'm just gently tapping it in like so, and next side we'll do with a sponge. And when I'm doing with a sponge, I'm just pressing on it so it will be absorbed and we can have a thin coat of concealer. Oh, sorry, forgot. Okay, now we can do, I think, with the sponge. I like the sponge better, but you know, this is personal preference. You can try and see what you like. And if you like with a sponge, then use the sponge, but I love the sponge better than the brush. But if you are a beginner but you're a bit older and you have some creases under your eye, sometimes using a brush is better because you can control the number of layers that you can apply under eye. So it depends when you start applying makeup, if you're a teenager or older, and that makes a difference. But you can see that I like the sponge side better than the brush side because I didn't do anything special with the brush, just applied it simply. Okay, next up is powder, and I'm using this Essence Mattifying Compact Powder in the shade 11, Pastel Beige. Now you can use the same brush or you can use the same sponge. So if you started with a sponge, then probably you will use a sponge because you already have it, or you can do it with a brush, yeah, and I'm going to show you both. I'm just taking the same brush. I didn't take a different one, even though usually I use a different brush, but I just tapped it like this. I've taken out the excess and I'm just applying it to my under eye area. I don't want you to buy too many brushes, so I'm trying to do everything with as less brushes as possible. Now, or you can use your sponge, same thing, just tap it off and apply it with a sponge. Sponge is better for your under eye area, but it can be also used for the rest of your face. So I just applied it on my sponge, and I'm tapping it on my face with the sponge. So this is the sponge side, and the other side I'm going to do with the brush, and I'm just taking it like so. And it's harder because it is a tiny brush. I usually use a larger brush. It's important for me so the BB cream will remain here and won't disappear during the day. So I'm adding here under my or near my nose as much as powder as I can. And when I'm using this kind of small brushes, I usually don't apply it all over my face, just where it's important and it's usually in these sections on the cheek and near the nose and on my chin a bit. Okay, so when you are using the sponge, you can do your entire face with the powder. If you're using a brush, and a small brush like this, it's very hard to do your entire face, so you can focus on the most important places on your face, which are the nose and the cheek and the chin. So that was powder. Let's go for brows. And for brows, I'm just using a simple pencil. This is by e.l.f. This is the Instant Lift Brow Pencil in the shade Taupe. It has two sides, a spoolie, and I just brush my brows with the spoolie, and I will just add some. The other side is the pencil itself, and I'm just doing it very, very, very gently with a light hand, just adding some color where I personally lost the pigment of my brows. And it all depends on you. Do you have pigment? Then you don't really need this stage. You can add a very, very, very light coat. What do I have here on my... Okay, what is that? What do I have here? Glitter? From where? I don't have glitter anywhere. This is strange. Stage, I want to apply the same concealer on my lids as an eye primer. I'm just taking a small amount on each lid and taking the same brush that I used earlier, and I'm just spreading it on my lid like so. And well, I have these from my eye cream, so don't pay attention to it. And I'm just taking the same powder that I just used, the Essence one, with the same brush, and adding the powder to my lid. Okay, next up we need to add some blush and bronzer and highlighter. Next up is this bronzer by Wet n Wild. This is the Color Icon bronzer in the shade Ticket to Brazil. Now I have to take a fluffier brush. I can't use this brush for the bronzer, and it will be stainy and it will be very, very difficult, and I don't want it to be ugly. I want it to be pretty, which is less brushes as possible. So this is the second brush, and I'm just taking some of the bronzer, taking the excess on the back of my hand and applying it to my face. And I'm starting near my eyes and on my cheekbone. I'm just warming up the face, and in the perimeter of my face I've taken some more and dipping off the excess on the back of my hand. Always keep this as a habit. You know, this bronzer doesn't really need it. It's a very light color and I don't really need it, but it's a habit, and it's better to take it off, even if you don't really need to take it off. But then if you take by mistake a darker shade which has a lot of pigment, and then you will have stains of bronzer all over your face, and it's not pretty. Okay, so I just added the bronzer and warmed my face, and with the same brush I'm taking my blush. So I have this blush by Revolution, and it's called Sugar and Spice. What I love about it is that it has a lot of variety of colors, and it also has these two that can double as a highlighter. So this is very affordable, and you can save money and buy this one as the blusher and as the highlighter, so saves you money. And let's start. And what I'm doing, I'm combining two colors. So I'm taking this very light pink, and I'm adding this very light brown because I don't want it to be too much, so I'm just taking from both colors, and again I'm taking the access on the back of my hand because these Revolution are very pigmented. So with the same brush I'm just adding some color to my cheekbone, and I'm repeating, I'm taking additional powder, applying it on my cheekbone, same brush. So this is brush number 2, and now I'm taking the same brush and I'm using the highlighter, which, as I said, is one of these, so you can choose whatever you want. I'm going to choose this one because it really looks like a highlighter. So this is not a highlighter brush, but you can use it as a highlighter brush. You don't really need to buy another brush. This does the job done. You just have to take it like this when it's in an upright position and dip it in the highlighter and highlight your face. So we are highlighting this section of our, let's say, upper cheek, under eye. It's this beautiful bone here that we have, and now we're highlighter. Okay, we have a highlighter and we use the same brush for the highlighter, for the bronzer, and for the blush. We used 2 brushes or a brush and a sponge. It depends on you, on your personal preferences. Now at the beginning you don't really know what your preferences are, so buy the cheapest sponges you can find and try it. See if you like it. Don't forget it has to be damp. So put it under water, squeeze all the excess and use it damp. So this is the only thing that you have to do with a sponge, which is different than a brush. But both of them you have to wash after you use them. Stage is the eyes, and I don't want you to buy anything special for the eyes. You don't really need it. You just want to add some kind of color to your eyelids, and for that I'm just using my blusher and my bronzer and highlighter. So I don't really need any more. So it's very affordable to buy this palette because it doubles as an eyeshadow palette. You can use you can use even the bronzer, even though I don't really need a bronzer if I'm using this palette. But if I have it separately, then I will use the bronzer and the highlighter and the blush. But if I have this palette, I can use only this palette because I have these brownish colors here, these blushers here, the highlighter here, so it can really doubles up as an eyeshadow palette. Now when you're young or you're a beginner in makeup, you don't really want to do something too elaborate, something too special. We just want to have some color on your eyelids. But if you want to make it something very festive and you can want to make it something special, then you can do it with this one as well, but you will need additional brushes. So I'm just want to show you how to use the same brush that I already used at the beginning of this video, and this is, by the way, the Baby Bye Bye by AWB Makeup, and you can use only this brush and to apply your makeup to your eyes, your eye makeup. I'm just taking, as I said, these are 2 browns that can double as a bronzer, so I'm just taking one of them to this brush and just applying it. You can see it's very, very pigmented, so I just applied it above my crease. If you are younger, apply it on your crease and not above your crease. It all depends on your eye shape. If you have hooded eyes like I do, you apply it above the crease. If you don't have hooded eyes, then apply it directly in the crease. That means that you can hardly see the eyelid. Okay, you can see only this little section of my eyelid when my eyes are opened. That's what it means. Okay, so as I said, I already applied this brown color on my crease. Next up, with the same brush, I'm not changing brushes, I'm just taking this beautiful color here, this blush highlighter color, and I'm just adding it to my lid. This is a very pretty color, and this palette is very pigmented, as you can see. Very pigmented. Now this brush is not meant to be used as an eyeshadow brush, but you really don't want to buy so many brushes, you don't really need them. Just don't forget to wash the brush after you use it, and tomorrow you will have it clean and ready for a new look. And really, there is no actual need, unless you want to do something special with your eye look. You can still use this palette because it has a variety of colors that you can use for even a special look, and the bronzer as well, you can use it as well. So you really don't need to invest in an eyeshadow. Okay, next up, let's see if it's even. I need to add some more here, and let's add some more on the other side. Yep, I like it. Now I want to add some of this highlighter in my inner corner, so I'm using my pinky finger. This is one of the best brushes that you can have, and I'm just adding it to my inner corner, and I'm taking the other pinky finger and applying it with my other hand. It's easier to use the same hand of your side if you're using in the inner corner. That's it. I'm done. I'm done, and I think it turned out beautifully and affordable, definitely. Next up, you need a mascara. Okay, I don't recommend skipping out this part, but if you have very dark and long lashes, you don't need a mascara. But my lashes are practically invisible, so you can't really see them, so I need a mascara, and I think it adds something to your look. So I'm using this Essence Lash Princess False Lash Effect mascara, and I'm just applying it to my eyelashes. So I'm just adding very gently, and after I have the first coat, I'm just wrinkling a bit. That's it. I'm not going to do anything more than that. It's definitely more than enough. Same on the other side. I'm just applying the first coat, and I'm not re-dipping to the same. When I'm using just this eye, I'm not re-dipping. I'm using the leftover that I have on the wand and wingling it. And wiggle it. And you can see that this mascara is very dark and thick, and voila, I have lashes. Now, if you want, you don't have to, you can add mascara to your lower lashes as well. It all depends on you, on what you like to do. And looking close, I can see that the eye makeup turned out beautifully. So I'm just covering my lower lashes with a very light hand. Last but not least, we wear a lipstick on our lips. You don't have to, you can use a lip balm. I have this lip balm. This is by CeraVe. This is an organic lip balm, or you can use this one. This is by Maybelline Superstay Ink Crayon. This is in the shade 25. So this one doubles as a lip liner and as a lipstick, so one product and you have two applications, which is why I love it so much. Look how pretty it is, and this is the color. Great. Okay, so I'm just applying it as I'm starting as a lip liner. So I'm applying it to the perimeter of my lips. And then I'm filling in. That's it. You don't need to do anything more than that. That's it. We're ready. So 9 products. That's all we had. So I had this BB cream, I had the concealer, I had the brow pencil and the powder. Don't know if I have room in my hands, which are 4. I had the mascara, which is 5, the lipstick, which is 6. I used this palette as the blusher and the highlighter, and I used the bronzer, which is 8. But sometimes you don't have this palette, you have an individual blush like this one by Essence, so, and an individual highlighter like this one from Essence. So these are the 9, so additional 3 to the other 6. So this is why I said 9 essentials. But you know, if you're using this palette, which is doubles as a blusher and a highlighter, so it's 8. And if you're very fair, you can use these colors as bronzers as well. So this is all you really need to start. Now the concealer is, in my opinion, a must, because it highlights your face and it gives you definition, and I don't really think you need to do any more than this. So this is the final look. Okay, I have some highlighter here, and this is the final look. I think it turned out beautifully and I like it. Let me know in the comment section down below. Did you learn something that you didn't know before? Was it that helpful for you? So in the comment section down below, did you enjoy watching me do this look? Did you learn something new that you didn't know before? What do you think about the final look? Well, I know I like it very much. So thank you for joining me. If you're new to my channel, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Don't forget to give that a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and I'll catch you all in my next video. Bye.